3 days. All right, where are we holding here? We're smacking middle of a sugya. We have the Baisusim. They decided that it says in the Torah, Mimochras HaShabbos. When do you bring the Omer? You bring the Omer on a Sunday. Mimochras HaShabbos, the day after Shabbos. We obviously hold that Mimochras HaShabbos means the day after Yontif. Shabbos is referring to Pesach, the first day of Pesach. So the Gemara gave a whole list of reasons why they're wrong. 6 reasons. We're actually going to go through all the reasons real quickly a little later. And now we are holding, you know what, let's start from the last line on Daf Samachem Beis. It's actually repeating what we learned before. You know what, so we'll start from Rabbi Yossi, it makes sense. Yossi, we'll start from Yossi. 3 lines down from the top. Samach Vov Amud Aleph. L'kavod Rabbi Yossi, the new edition for today. Ooh, Shalom Aleichem. Rabbi Yossi Omer.
The new fill-in baggage here.
Yes. You came on the right day, by the way, Yossi, because starting tomorrow, 3 people are going to America. And yesterday somebody went to America. Avi went. So Kitzer, you came on the right day. Shkoyach.
You got America tomorrow?
No, not me. Okay, so let's start. Again, for all those who just showed up. It says in the pasuk, Mimochras HaShabbos. The day after Shabbos, we bring the Omer. What does Mimochras HaShabbos mean? The next day. We say it means the day after Yontif. All Yom Tovim are called Shabbos. The Baisusim, who are like the Tzdukim, they don't believe in the Torah Shabbat Peh. They decided it means Sunday. So we had a bunch of proofs against them. And the Gemara is going to say, Rav is going to say, not all the proofs are very good. As Noam pointed out yesterday, there's a few holes in the proofs. But now we're going to continue with a couple more proofs. Rabbi Yossi Omer, 3 lines down from the Samach Vav Amud Aleph. Rabbi Yossi Omer. Mimochras HaShabbos, Mimochras Yom Tov. I say that Mimochras HaShabbos means the day after Yom Tov. Ato Omer Mimochras Yom Tov, Ve'en El Mimochras Shabbos Bereishis. Maybe it means the day after Shabbos, meaning Sunday, the Shabbos of Bereishis of Brias HaOlam. Maybe it means Sunday. Amers, no. It doesn't mention in the pasuk what Shabbos. So now you have a problem. If you say that Mimochras HaShabbos means Sunday, there's 56 Sundays. How many Sundays are there? There's a lot of Sundays. How do you know which Sunday it is? It doesn't mention anything about the Sunday after Pesach. That's it. The Chol Hashonu Kulo Milei Shabbosos. Say Ubdoikes Shabbos. Now you have no idea what Shabbos it is. So you must say that the day after Shabbos doesn't refer to Sunday. It means the day after Yontif, like we do it. Va'oid. Now this va'oid is very important because the Gemara brings this word va'oid as proof that he didn't really agree with his own. Thank you. Va'oid meaning I need another reason because the first reason I just said is not so good, and the Gemara is going to explain later. But just I want to point out the va'oid. This is where it is. Va'oid nemro Shabbos lamato, v'nemro Shabbos lamalo. So this is what we had yesterday. It says Shabbos by Shavuos, v'nemro Shabbos lamalo, and it says Shabbos by the Omer, by Pesach. Malalon regel utchilas regel, just like by Shavuos. When do we bring the Shtei Alechem? By Yontif, by Shavuos. And what part of Shavuos? The beginning of Shavuos. Afkan regel utchilas regel. So too, when it comes to the Omer, by Pesach, it's a Yontif, it's Pesach. What part of Pesach? The beginning of Pesach, the first day of Pesach. Reb Shimon ben Elazar Omer. Now, this is a proof that the Gemara is going to say is a good proof. We don't have a pirch of it. Reb Shimon ben Elazar Omer, Kosev echad Omer sheishes yomim toichal matzos, ve'kosev echad Omer shivas yomim matzos techelu. We have a major contradiction. Have you ever heard about this contradiction? What? I'm sure. But it's a problem. On the one hand, it says you should eat matzahs for 6 days. On the other hand, it says you should eat matzahs for 7 days. No, what do? It's a major problem. The answer is so pashut and so beautiful. Hoketzad, matzah shiata yochel ochlo shiva min hachodosh. Ata yochel ochlo shisha min hachodosh. There's 2 types of grain. this Chodesh and Yashan. When does the new grain come into play? When does Chodesh become mutter? After you bring the Omer, which is the second day of Pesach. And Memela, from the new grain, you can only eat matzah for 6 days. That's why he says 6 days. But from the old grain, you could eat matzah for 7 days. Now, according to the Baisusim, that say that has nothing to do with the day after Pesach. When do you bring the Omer? After Sunday. Menachos Shabbos on Sunday. So it could be 6 days after the first day of Pesach. If Pesach falls out on a Sunday, so 6 days, you'll have to wait until after Sunday. So Memela, then this puzzle doesn't make sense that you eat matzah for 6 days. Yes, once in a while you get to eat matzah for 6 days, but that's not what the Torah means. Miyoim. So we said this. Okay, it's a matzah sheyad yochal la'achal shiva menachodesh ad yochal la'achal shisha menachodesh. Okay, miyoim haviyachim tisperu. So for this small little chart, no big deal. All these charts were done 10 minutes before I came here. There's 3 things. Yeah, I'm saving on paper because I haven't been to America in a long time. There's Tzira, Sphira, and Ava. There's 3 things. You cut, you start counting, and you bring it. You're looking at me, it's like a little shvach, huh? What are you looking at? No, you're counting the days. The days. First, you have to cut the wheat. In order to count Sfiras HaOmer, you have to cut the wheat. Then you count, and then you bring the wheat to the Beis HaMikdash. In what order, when, what part of the day? That's what we're going to discuss now. How does that work? Says the Gemara. Miyoim havi achim tisperu. From the day that you bring it to the Beis HaMikdash, that's when you start counting. Yochal yiktzar v'yavi. I would think that you cut the tfuah, you do the first 2 steps, cutting. You do the step 1 and 3, ktsira and avah. Ve'mosai sheyirtze yispar, and the middle step of svira is whenever you feel like it. Tamaloymar mehachel chermesh ba'kama tachel yispar. From the beginning, mehachel. When you take it down, when you kaitzer, then you start counting. Maybe you do ktsira and sfira, number 1 and number 2. And number 3, you can do it whenever you want. You don't have to bring it to the Beis HaMikdash right away. Okay, so now I know I need to do all these 3 things. But maybe I could do them during the daytime. Temimois means full days. Now, the only way I could have a full day is if I start in the evening. Like a Jewish calendar, Jewish day starts in the night. So if I cut it for a night, so now I start counting, and now I have 49 full days. But if I cut it the following morning, so I only have 48 and a half days. Sheva Shabbos is Temimois Tieno. It has to be 7 full weeks. So Memela I have to start counting at night. Maybe he cuts it and he brings it and he starts counting everything he does at night. There's also something that's done in the day. Hava that says miyoim haviyachem. That is done in the daytime. So what do we have? Ktsira, Sfira is at night. Hava is in the day. And they're all interconnected. Now.
So Motzei the first night of Pesach, they would go out in the field in the dark?
Yes. Motzei, did the sun go down? Yes. Everybody screams yes. Should we start cutting? Yes. 3 times. But they ask, that's one of the questions. Did the sun go down? What?
When we came out on Shabbos.
Yeah. Friday night. Now, I am giving out $1,000 gift certificate. Whoever knows all 8 shitas in order without looking in. Let's go for 2 shitas. Fine. Anyways, here they are.
Interesting thing is Rabbi Yossi brings his own shita before he says Rabbi Yossi in the name of his Rebbe as well. You've got Rabbi Yossi here,
There's three Rabbi Yosis. There's Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Yehuda twice, and Rabbi Yosi. Yes. Yeah. Oh, no. Right, no. Now we're talking about something else. Just the shaila of when do you bring it? You bring it during Havaz during the day. We're going to go through all 8 shittas real quickly. They're very easy, and it's nageh to the sugya coming up because Rav is debunked. We don't use these shittas. There's only the ones in green. Only the ones with the check are good. So he says like this. The first shita was Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. I had to go bekitzer over here. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai says, it says, 2 psukim, there's a steer in 2 psukim. It says, Tisperu chamishim yoim, but also says, Shava Shabbasis Tmimois. And Mele, he takes that and he says, obviously, it has to be that we start on Matzah Yontif. That's the only way you could reconcile the 2 psukim. Then we have Rabbi Eliezer. It says, Tisper Loch, that Bezdin counts. Now, if it always falls out on a Sunday, it has nothing to do with Bezdin. We know when we start counting, it's always on Sunday. Then we have Rabbi Yeshua. He says, just like Rosh Chodesh, you count 29 days and then you do Kedusha, so too over here. But according to the Baisusim, it has nothing to do with us counting, it's always on a Sunday. Rabbi Shmuel says, Tchilas Regel, it comes out on a Yontif, and just like Shavuos is a Yontif in the beginning of Yontif, so too by us, it's on a Yontif and the beginning of Yontif. It's in the beginning of Pesach. That is a good, that's a good raya. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira says that it comes always, it's Shab, it says in the pasuk Shabbos, and then there's a regel, then there's a Yontif. So too, it's Pesach, it's Shabbos means Pesach, that comes next to Yontif. Just like by Shavuos, it's Shabbos and a regel. Rabbi Yehuda says that it says that you count 50 days. Now, according to the Baisusim, sometimes you have 56 days between Pesach and the Omer. What's the kasha that Noam asked yesterday? It's you're counting 50 days. It doesn't say from when do you start the 50 days. It doesn't say that you start from the... Rabbi Yossi says that it says Shabbos in the Torah. Now it can't be a regular Shabbos because there's so many Shabbos and we have no idea which one it is. It must mean the Yontif that we're just talking about. I mean, Machar is a Shabbos. If you look in the Torah, it talks about Pesach, and immediately afterwards it says on Shabbos start counting. So Mela has to be Pesach. And Shimon ben Elazar says that it says by matzahs it has 6 days to eat matzah. It must be that the 6 days that you eat matzah is talking about the new crop, the Chodosh. And you bring the Omer the day after Yontif starts, and Mimela you can only eat matzah 6 days. Those are the 8 shittas. Yeah?
I've got a problem with shitting number 2.
I'm missing what?
The green check.
I know, I had it over here. It's underneath this piece of tape. I took it off the last second because I thought I made a mistake. Let's see in the Gemara. If I didn't make a mistake, it's in here. It's just underneath this piece of paper. Because the Gemara does say it's the 2 last of each one, but then the Gemara seems to go away from it. But I didn't have time to look into it, seriously. So I just put a piece of paper, I said, I made a mistake, boom, let's see it inside.
I don't understand.
Then you go to the second chapter, basically take it off. And then
Okay, bye.
I don't
Number
understand.
is the same as number number 4.
What happened? I'm missing something here, I messed this up. It's not a good thing to mess up. 8 shittas.
I don't understand.
Or you don't understand number 4.
Yeah, because we're saying that it's going to be Yom Tov. Shavuos is...
No, Pesach is like Shavuos.
Yeah.
Just like Shavuos, you bring the Shtei Alechem close to Yontif, but next to Yontif, on Yontif, the beginning of Yontif, the beginning of Shavuos, so to the Omer is on Pesach, the beginning of Pesach, the first day of Pesach.
But Tusim could say both are Tuesday, could both be Sunday.
No, but he said it's a binyanav. Binyanav is just like over there, it's on Yontif, and it's the beginning of Yontif. So too over here, it has to be connected to a Yontif. We're connecting Pesach to Shavuos, just like Shavuos is on Yontif. So Pesach also.
And maybe the Baltusim would say that Shavuos Yontif is 50 days after their Pesach.
No, but it says Shabbat. It says Regel. It's a Yontif.
Yeah, but the regel is calculated. It's not. The Torah doesn't tell you it's the 7th of Sivan. It says 50 days after Pesach.
I know, but is there a Yontif by Shavuos? Is Shavuos a Yontif?
Yes.
Okay, so then
Maybe
Pesach also has to have a Shavuos. Then
just
Pesach
like
also has
they
to
make
have
Pesach
Yontif.
on a Sunday.
Nothing to do with counting. Nothing to do with counting. If Shavuos has a Yontif, so Pesach also has to have a Yontif. And according to Beisusim, there's no Yontif. It's just a Sunday. It actually, according to Beisusim, it could actually start after Yontif. It could actually start when Pesach is over.
So the Beisusim kept Pesach on Pesach, not on Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have nothing. Yeah, they have nothing to do with the Sunday.
Disconnected the two, the Omer and the Pesach.
The Omer and the Pesach. You hear what I'm saying? According to Beisusim, the Omer could be after Pesach is over. Motzei Yontif, it's over. The 7th day, because if Yontif falls out on a Sunday, then they're bringing the Omer on a weekday. Nothing to do with Chol HaMoed. It's after Pesach is over. It's done. Okay, let's see inside. Omer Rava. Smack in the middle of the page, almost. Omer Rava. Kulu islu pircha. All these 8 shitas, I have a pirchan. Bar mitarti tanoi basroi. Besides the last 2 tanoim in the first brisa, bein b'masnisa kamaisa, bein b'masnisa basraisa, the last 2 pircha. So the last 2 in the first brisa and the last 2 in the second brisa, I don't have a pircha. Fine. So that's why he's saying there should be a check mark on the second one. Mid Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. What did Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai say? It says 2 psukim, Tispru Chamishim, but it also says you should count 50 days, but it also says you should count the weeks. So says the Gemara, why is that a stira? Dilma kedabaya. Maybe those psukim are coming to say like Abaya's halacha. The Omar Abaya, mitzvah lemimnei yomi, u'mitzvah lemimnei shavui. Like we all know, there's a mitzvah to count the weeks, and the mitzvah to count the days. By the way, some point out, some Rishonim say, because it says mitzvah, lemimnei yomi, u'mitzvah lemimnei shavui, that it's each one is an individual mitzvah. The Rambam is mechulek, fine.
And that's why they make 2 brachos?
Yeah, in those days they used to make 2 brachas. According to this, they would make 2 separate brachas, one on the weeks and one on the days. What does Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua say? Tisper loch, that has nothing to do with you counting, Bezdin deciding when to count. Everybody knows that you start on Sunday, so it has nothing to do with loch. Rabbi Yeshua, what does Rabbi Yeshua say? That you have to count 29 days, and by Rosh Chodesh, and then you Mekadesh. So over here also you have to count days, but according to the Beisusim, there's nothing to count. It always starts on a Sunday. Says the Gemara, Mimai, the B'yontav Rishon Koi, Dilma B'yontav Achron Koi. So they have a very good raya, but at the end of the day, they're not proving that it starts in the beginning of Pesach. Maybe it starts at the end of Pesach. What do you want to see? You trying to figure it out for me? The last one? Okay. It's a good thing Yedidi is not here. It would say 4 goes after 5, and 5 doesn't exist. He's sticking another one in the middle. Fine. Should have seen the auras he had on those psukim I had. There's a lot. He had a lot of fun at the bar mitzvah. Yeah. Fine. I should have kept him inside. Actually, better off. Zog the Gemara. See here the Shiloh. Maybe you count 50 days, but from the last day of Yontif, or Tisper. Where is it? Tisper loch. Yeah, Bezdin counts. But maybe from the last day of Yontif they count. Who says it's from the first day of Yontif?
That doesn't help that it still doesn't necessarily end up on a Sunday.
It doesn't. It's a good raya, but you mean it's still a kash on the Beisusim?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a kash on the Beisusim, but they didn't prove anything. It's not a good raya. It's something's missing here. There's a hole in what they're saying, because if they're right in what they're saying, then it should say from what part of Yontif, the beginning or end, and it doesn't say. The Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. So these 2 that have a check mark, what they say is that's the beginning of Yontif. In their raya, there's a point that says that it starts in the beginning of Yontif, just like Shavuos. It's at the beginning of Shavuos, so to Pesach is the beginning of Pesach. So in Mela, that's a perfect raya. We know that we know it's Yontif. Not only do we know it's Yontif, but it's the beginning of Yontif. So that I don't have a pircha to. Rabbi Yehuda. Now, what does Rabbi Yossi bir Rabbi Yehuda say? That sometimes we count 56 days. So that's not good. Says the Gemara, Hava Amino Dilma Chamshin Lebar Mahaneshita. Where in the Torah does it say when you start? No, you count 50 days. According to the Beisusim, you always count 50. Just happens to be you start counting after Pesach is over, let's say, or you start counting in the middle of Pesach. That's what no one was asking yesterday. I called him a Beisusi, but he asked a good kasha. He's really like Rava. What? Of course he did.
I'm autographing after.
Zog the Gemara. Now, I don't have this Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseira in here because Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseira in my thing is number 5, Shabbos Regel. We're bringing the second Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseira, which Tosfos points out that it's probably not Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseira because it doesn't make sense that you'd say two separate things. The Gemara brings them down as two separate shitas. Maybe it's a different Rabbi Yehuda. Akopanim, either way, he says exactly like Rabbi Eliezer says on the top of the page. If you look at the top words of the page, Harei Oimer Tispaloch Sfiratula Bebezdin. I'm sorry, this is Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseira. Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseira is exactly like Rabbi Eliezer on Samachayim the base. What does the Gemara say? Exactly like we had before. We said this before. That Tispar Lach is a good kasha. It says that Bezdin is Sofer. Now, according to the Baisusim, it's not Bezdin. Automatically, you start on Sunday, you start counting. Nothing to do with Bezdin. Yes, but when do you start counting? It doesn't say when Bezdin starts counting. Maybe Bezdin starts counting the first day of Yontif. Maybe the last day of Yontif. So that's not a great raya. Rabbi Yossi Nami Chazile Pircha. So Rabbi Yossi, hold on. It's raining. A rain delay. I had a feeling when he came with his 4 coffees right next to my thing. At least it wasn't coffee. All right. Fine. Hold on, let me get this because I use this every day and I'm very makpid on it. Hold on. On the beauty of my Gemara. Look at my pages; they're all in perfect condition.
You better not touch it.
Yeah.
Just let him try it.
Okay. Zog the Gemara.
Go back to tape.
No, it's all good. So, Rabbi Yossi, what does Rabbi Yossi say here? Rabbi Yossi's kasha is that it says Shabbos and it doesn't tell us what Shabbos. Says the Gemara. Rabbi Yossi nami chazilei pircha. Now, v'hainu dekol amar v'oid. That's why Rabbi Yossi himself came up with another pshat, and his next pshat is a pshat that we already had. So maybe that's what Rava meant. That this pshat is still included. That's why I took off the check mark. In the beginning I thought it meant the first part of Rabbi Yossi. Then I realized that the Gemara slugs up the first Rabbi Yossi, so I had to take off his check mark. I put a little piece of paper on it. And basically what the Gemara is saying, Rabbi Yossi asked the kasha, it says in the Torah Shabbos, but it doesn't say which of the Shabbosim. It could be any Shabbos. So that's a great kasha. But he still doesn't prove when you start counting, in the beginning of Yontif or at the end of the Yontif. So the same question we had on everybody else, we have on Rabbi Yossi. And therefore he goes to his second pshat, which is already included in one of these pshatim in Rabbi Shmuel, Tchilas Regel. Fine. Gufa. We just mentioned earlier, as a side point, Omar Abaye mitzvah lemimni yoymei mitzvah lemimni shavua. When it comes to Sfiras HaOmer, there's a mitzvah to count the days, and there's a mitzvah to count the weeks. Now, says the Gemara, Rabbanan debei Reb Ashi manu yoymei umanu shavua. The Rabbanan of Reb Ashi, they counted both. Ameimar manu yoymei v'lo manu shavua. Ameimar only counted the days. Omar Zecher Lemigdosh Hu. So, there's 2 shittas in the Rishonim. Neither of what we do. There's a shita in the Rishonim that says that you count the days. Let's say you're holding on the 15th of the Omer. So you say, Hayoim Chamishasar Yoim Ba'omer Shehem Shnei Shavuos. You count the days. You did 15 days, and then you say how many weeks? 2 weeks. But you don't say 2 weeks and a day. You did the days already. So the question in the Rishonim is, do we say the days and then the weeks? Or do we say the weeks and then the days? Do we say Hayoim Shnei Shavuos V'Yoim Echad? If it's 15 days, there's Rishonim that say this is how you count. Hayoim Shnei Shavuos V'Yoim Echad. End of the story. You don't have to count the days because you're saying 2 weeks and a day. Everybody knows 2 weeks and a day equals 15. So then we come along and we take the 2 shittas and we combine them together. We do days, weeks, days. And like this, we yaitze basically all the shittas. Okay? No?
and the agent just do another way.
Which way? It's machlokes how to do it. It's machlokes if you say weeks and the days in the weeks, or you say, so we say the days and then we say the weeks and how many days are in the week.
If somebody were to miscount the day, why should he not be allowed to do the bracha if he counted the weeks?
No, because every day you have to count the weeks, and he missed that day to count the weeks. Every day. Tmimois, it has to be full. It has to be full. Seven full weeks of counting. You miss one of those days of counting the weeks. You're also counting. You don't count once a week. If you counted once a week in the beginning of the week, today is 2 weeks, and then you don't count at all. Okay. Says the Mishnah. Now we're continuing with the Omer. How did the Omer work? Says the Mishnah, Kotzerua, they cut the wheat, Unasanua bekupais, and they put the wheat inside the boxes. Haviyu la azara, and they brought the wheat to the azara, Vahayu mahaviv inoisibur. They toasted it in the fire. In other words, as is, on the stalk, they took the stalks with the wheat and they toasted it on the fire. Because it says in the Torah the word kali, divrei Rebbe Meir. This is what Rebbe Meir says. No, you don't toast it yet. You take something soft like konim of some sort of a cabbage, and you bang the wheat in order to get the grain out. Why do you use something soft like a cabbage so you don't crush it? Then after you have it comes out, nisanu la'abuv. Then you try to toast it in like a toaster oven called the abuv. It's like a pipe made out of copper and it has a bunch of holes in it. Says the Mishnah of abuv hayimenukav kedeshia urshoyle bekulay. This abuv toaster device has a bunch of holes in it so that the fire and the heat could spread out throughout the whole pipe. Shtachu ba'azara, and now whatever moisture was left over in the kernels, they spread it out on the azara floor. V'haruach min hasheves boy, and the wind comes and dries it out. Then they'll take it. Nesanu l'rechaim shel grusois. They'll take the Art Scroll translates this as a bean mill. It's a mill that's for thicker produce. And the point is, what does soilus mean? Soilus means thick, right? Like when we did the mincha here, it wasn't fine flour. Not to be mistaken with fine flour. Fine is not how coarse it is, but how pure it is, how perfect it is. So it's a thicker flour, but the better part of the thick flour. That's why it's called soilus, right? I'm saying the Art Scroll, or in English, soilus is always fine flour.
It's healthy food.
Okay, healthy, fine. It's all not healthy, fine.
Soilus is semolina.
What?
Soilus is semolina.
What is that, like a daisa? What's semolina? What's semolina in English? Anybody?
It's the top of wheat.
I think
Daisa? No.
It's not
Is it? He's saying what is semolina made from?
No, I'm just saying it's thick in texture.
Oh, thicker texture. Okay.
What is semolina made from?
Which we put here like a coffee grinder.
Corn, no?
Wheat.
A what, Brian? A coffee?
Grinder.
Coffee grinder. Oh,
Semolina is a little
exactly. A bean grinder, coffee grinder. We'll ask you short to give us a demonstration in a second. Vayitziu mimenu isaroin, and they took out of these 3 saw an isaroin. What percentage of the 3 saws in isaroin? I'll give you a hint. Isaroin? A tenth. It's 10% of what they're trying to get out of. Shumenupa, says the Mishnah, it's, how do you say in English? Sifted. Bishaloish esrei napa. This 13 sifters, and now you're left with 90% of your produce. What? Dorum?
Darum wheat.
Dorum wheat.
Most purified wheat.
Okay. Vashar nivda v'nechol l'chol adam. So now they have 90% of this Dorum wheat that we're not using the Beis Hamikdash for the Omer. We're only using 10%. So what do you do with the rest? Somebody could come and pay for it, and then he could go eat it. Now, when he eats it, when he makes bread out of it, what are the halachas? There's 2 problems. There's challah and there's meiser. Does he have to bring challah and does he have to bring meiser? V'chayev b'challah. Why is he chayev b'challah? Because he's finishing off the bread, and memela he's chayev in it. U'poter min meiser, because when it comes to meiser, there's a concept called gemar melacha, which is miruach. Miruach usually means smoothing it out. Smoothing it out is the last final malacha. Since that last final malacha was done in the Beis Hamikdash, so the Beis Hamikdash took care of the meiser. Anything that happens afterwards, you're part of a meiser. Rebbe Akiva mechayev b'chalo b'meisros, and Rebbe Akiva is mechayev in meiser, and the Gemara is going to explain why. Because Beis Hamikdash never bought the 90%. The Beis Hamikdash only wanted 10% to begin with. And yesh breira, we decided, okay, this is the 10% that they got and they bought, and well, the rest of it was never the Beis Hamikdash. So the Beis Hamikdash was never poitered from meiser. From Rabbanon,
They're not Jodi of Challah? The Kri of Challah?
a holy sorin. Oh, you
More
mean?
than a sign. Mine is true.
Oh, for the guy, you're right. The guy's. Yeah, it's a lot. In Nisaran, I think it's 5 pounds. We said, right? Nisaran is 5 pounds, which is Chai B'chal anyways. But the guy is Chai B'chal, not the Beis Hamikdash. The guy buying it, he's buying 40 something pounds. Says Dr. Gemara, Torah Banan Aviv Ze Aviv. Aviv, the translation in the Art Scroll is the first ears. A lot of Art Scroll today. The first ears. But, says the Gemara, Ze Aviv, it means the first. It has to be first. It's the first crop. Kolui bo'esh. Milamid sho Yisrael mahavim moisir bo'esh k'dei l'kayim b'mitzvahs koli. Says koli geres. So mela, they had to toast it, and they toasted it to be mekayim divrei Rebbe Meir. B'chacham oimrim, like you saw in the Mishnah. B'chacham oimrim ein ur loshen koli elo do ba'acher. No, koli doesn't mean to toast in a fire. It means something else. Ein loshen koli elo dover kolil. Something shiny, again from the Art Scroll. Shiny? What's shiny? There's the copper pipe. Copper is very shiny. It had holes like a sifter. So that the heat can go inside and get all the grain dried out. Oviv kolui geres. Geres means it is ground. I don't know if it means that you grind the whole stalk, or you take it, or you make it into flour. If you look in the side, I didn't have time for the chart, unfortunately. It says in the pasuk, in the top, the first pasuk, stop, and it says bo'esh, geres carmel. So obviously the aviv kolui is bo'esh, not the geres carmel, because it's the first part of the pasuk. Carmel, this we had the other day. I think Rashi brought it down. Carmel, what is Carmel? Rach v'mol. You take the kaf and the reish and you flip it. Now you have rach. It should be soft. Umol, that you could be able to crush it with your fingers. It should be so soft. In other words, it has to be fresh, really fresh, and that's why we had in the Gemara that says that's why you bring it from the closest place from Yerushalayim. The closer, the better. Now, once we go into this nutrikin, we take a word and we make words out of it. Says the Gemara, I have another one. I have a few more. The literal translation is in its husks. But the Gemara says we can take the word b'tzikloinoi and make a whole chant out of it. So they take the word here. I did a little thing here. See? Here, b'tzikloinoi. Bo v'yotzak lonu v'chalnu nove. The base stands for bo, the tzadik kuf for v'yotzak, the lamed for lonu, vav v'chalnu, and nun vav nove. Just reminds me, there's a famous Vilna Gaon that I heard when I was like 8 years old. I don't know why. I loved it then, and I don't remember anything. I don't remember what we learned yesterday, but this thing I remember. It says by Eliphaz, he caught Yaakov Avinu. So v'yisaper loy eskol advarim ha'ela. Aleph Tov Hey Dal Vei Reish Yud Mem. It's called advarim ha'ela. So the Vilna Gaon says, Al tesamo ki lo yivesi davar b'chush rav yitzasi misham halach Eliphaz lokach hakol. That That's what it's called. Dvar Me'ela stands for. It's B'tzikloinoi.
Why doesn't the Gemara bring it here?
Al Tesamo, Aleph Tov. Eis Kol Hadvar Me'ela. Al Tesamo. Don't wonder. What's Eis Kol? What did he tell him? What did he? The whole story is in those words. Eis Kol Hadvar Me'ela. Al Tesamo. Kiloi Heveisi Dover. I don't have anything on me. B'chush Rav Yotzasi Misham. I had a lot of money when I left. Halach Elifaz Lokach HaKol.
Well, how's that with until the word Aila?
Halach Elifaz Lokach HaKol.
It's all Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, it's that the last part.
Yeah.
There used to be
Lavan. Who did he bump into? Lavan.
You
Sorry.
have to print out a chart.
Yeah.
I can see people here 90 years old.
Now B'tzikloinoi. I don't remember anything, but you remember B'tzikloinoi.
Gra has that for every word of Chumash. They asked him. He said,
Then Bereshis, he says there's about a opinion of Ben.
Okay, Shmos.
No.
Mine because I'm Shneimah Krachatargum. He stopped there.
Got
There
it.
used to be a way of writing.
5 minutes. 5 minutes, Rabbi
We
Schomburg.
used to just write one letter of each word.
Yeah.
It was called Cyrillic. And they found bits in the Geniza or such.
I'm sure you have 2 or 3 Sfarim about that.
Simanim written here.
It's not just Simonim, that's how they wrote. They were shorter pages.
Okay, let's try to finish something here. Zog the Gemara by Yom Matein Lo and by Yochel Bo v'Yozek Lano v'Chalna v'No v'Hoya. This should be great. V'Omer, another thing. Nis Alsa Ba'Havim. Let us enjoy ourselves with acts of love. So he learns from the word Nisalsa. Nisa v'Nitein v'Nala will get onto the bed. V'Nismach will be happy. V'Nischate Ba'Havim. Over here you could change the Hey to Ches and a Samach to Sin. Nisalsa, it could be Nismach. V'Omer. The famous Bar Yochni bird was a giant bird, and the Gemara in Bechoros or Sukkah, one of those Masechtas says that it laid an egg and it drowned 60 cities. So referring to that egg, it says over here, it's not. I don't think it's in the art scroll. Is this Maisa? No, the famous Bar Yochni. V'Omer Kenaf Renonim Ne'elasa. It was able to lift its egg and put it down. Even though it was such a giant egg that could drown 60 cities, it still had powerful wings. It was able to lift it up and put it in its nest very, very gently. So, how do you see it in the word? Noise oilo v'nischate. From the word nelasa. Fine. V'oimer by Bilam ki yorat haderech lenegdi, the donkey yoresa roasa notsa. You feared because it saw and therefore it went off the way. The very Rabbi Shmuel Tono Carmel Kar Mole. Not like we said before, Rach and Mol, but Kar Mole, it should be like a full pillow, meaning it should be completely ripe. When the wheat is ripe, so it's blown up like a pillow. So Rabbi Kiva said the 90% that the Beis Hamikdash doesn't use is Chayiv and Chalamais. Omer Rav Kahana, Oy Mahoy Rabbi Kiva, Meiruach Hegdish Eni Poiter. So Rav Kahana says that Rabbi Kiva is Mechulik on the whole concept, and he holds that just smoothing it out doesn't get you a ptur from Meiser, and therefore, just because Hegdish smooth it out doesn't give him a ptur. Moser Rav Sheishes, Moser Sholish Soin Halalu Meho Yoisem Boy, Nifda, V'nechol L'chol Adam, V'chayev B'chala, U'poter Min HaMaisrois. The leftover, your potter from Meiser, B'kiva M'chayev B'chala B'Maisrois. Amruloi, Poidim Yad Gizbar Yichiach, and they asked him, but you see that when you redeem something from the Gizbar, Shechayev B'chala, U'poter Min HaMaisrois. Now, V'm'isa the Miruach Hegdash Eni Poiter, if it's true what you're saying that Rabbi Kiva argues on the whole concept, Maika Amrle, he. You're asking Rabbi Kiva from the same exact case. That's not a good kasha. I argue on that case. I would say that the Gizbar, if you buy from a Gizbar, you are chayev in Meiser. So what are you're bringing a case that's identical to the case that we're talking about. And Elomai, the reason why they asked him from there is because he really does agree to the concept that that Hegdish, once they do Miruach, once they do the Gemar Malacha, it patters from Meiser. And that's why they asked him from over there. How could you say that Rabbi Kiva holds a Miruach? Doesn't patter. Rabbi Kiva Mechayev B'chalo B'Meisers Lefi Shaloi Nitnu Mois Al Tzorach Lohen. He says Mefurish, the reason why you patter from Meisers is because the Beis Hamikdash never bought it. They never owned it. Meaning that if the Beis Hamikdash would own it, you would be potter in Meiser because they did miruach. Elam Rabbi Yochanan, Tamad Orchu Befisha Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Kiva knew that this is the halacha shlei nitu mois el tzarich lahen. That according to Rabbi Kiva, it's not the end of the world. We have a very short daf tomorrow. I didn't learn it yet, but it looks word-wise it's short. We'll be able to do sugi, but let's look in Taisus real quickly because it's important. Taisus shlei nitu mois el tzarich lahen. V'hadik tani v'hashar nivda. We said before in the Mishnah that the rest of the wheat has to be redeemed, but according to you, why does it have to be redeemed? Beis HaMikdash never bought it. Why do you have to redeem something that Beis HaMikdash never bought? It's unbelievable kasha. Says Taisus, you're right. Rabbi Kiva is going to have to argue on that thing that you need to redeem it. According to Rabbi Kiva, you don't have to redeem it. Inami, no, you do have to redeem it. If somebody watches, they'll see that Beis HaMikdash started out with 3 saw, they used 10%, and all of a sudden some Reuven guy walked over, took the 90% and went home and made chal out of it without redeeming it, and they'll think that you could always do that. So they said, let's redeem it Rabbi Kiva says, redeem it just for the fun of it. So people shouldn't have a mistake.
The fact that it was collected in the process of
Let's finish over here. We'll start. It's a new sugya. We'll be able to deal with it tomorrow.
The fact that it was collected and cut and everything in Shabbos, and didn't have any execution, didn't belong to Beis HaMikdash.
But it was the tzorich gevaya. Why not?